Hallo, guten Abend. Am I audible?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just ask them to enable your chats. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I've just asked them to enable your chat option. Just give me a couple of minutes. I'll just share my screen and then we can start. Okay. So before we go ahead, does anybody have any questions, any doubts, anything not clear? Anything you want me to repeat? Is okay? Yeah. All right. So just give me 2 minutes. I'll just share my screen and then we can start. Yeah. Okay. So before we go ahead, anybody has any questions, any doubts? Okay, I can see a lot of y'all probably are joining for the first time. So I'm guessing this might be your first class. Okay. So yeah, all right. So yeah, all right. Okay. So 1 second. Yeah. All right. So I'm guessing that a lot of you all are joining for the first time. So this is your first class. Okay. So please make sure that you all have gone through the recordings, which are shared on the WhatsApp group. If you all are not on WhatsApp, please check with the team and make sure you are there on WhatsApp. Okay. So go through the recordings. If you all have any questions with any concepts that we have covered so far, let me know. Okay, I'll go over it with you all once again. Okay, all right. Now, today we will be moving on to the next topic. We will be moving on to nouns. Okay, so again, so far we are just continuing with the basics of the language. Okay, clear? So now we will be going ahead and we will be learning how, okay, some groups of nouns today. Okay, so before we start, we'll understand a couple of things. Okay, before we start learning the vocabulary, we'll understand a couple of things about the nouns that we have in Dutch. Okay, now first thing about nouns is whenever you are writing down the nouns, okay, whenever you have to write down the nouns, the first letter, the first letter of your noun is always gonna be capital. Okay, it doesn't matter where that noun comes in the statement or in the question. It could be at the beginning of the statement, it could be at the end of the statement, okay, it could be in the middle of the statement. Whenever you are using nouns, okay, whenever you are using nouns, the first letter of your noun is always going to be in capital. Okay, so remember that nouns we do not write in small. Okay, nouns you will not write it in the lowercase. The first letter of the noun is always going to be in capital. Okay, so that is the first thing about nouns. So also now when we'll take a look at examples. Okay, we will take a look at the different groups of nouns. You will see that the first letter of the noun will always be written in capital. Another thing to remember is regardless of where it comes in your sentence. Okay, so of course punctuation, the rules of punctuations apply. All right, that is the first letter of your sentence is always going to be capital. Okay, that is, a sentence is always going to be starting with capital letter. Okay, after your full stop, you will always use capitals. Okay, but as far as the nouns are concerned, every time you write a noun, you're gonna be writing the noun in the first letter has to be capital. Okay, so remember that nouns are never written in the smaller case or in the lower case. That is the first letter of the noun. Okay. Yeah. Now, the next thing that we need to understand about the nouns is nouns in Deutsch are gonna have genders. Okay, clear? So every noun that you have, it's gonna have the gender. Okay, clear? So you are gonna have nouns which classify under the gender masculine, feminine, neutral, and plural. Okay, so there are four kinds of genders that you're gonna be having. Your nouns are gonna be masculine, feminine, neutral, and plural. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Now, when it comes to nouns which link with people, okay, that is nouns which we associate with people, for example, zum Beispiel man or woman or uncle or aunt or father or mother, okay, so on. Those nouns are easier to identify as masculine or feminine, okay. So whenever I'm talking about the noun uncle, for example, okay, whenever I'm talking about the noun uncle, okay, now that is always going to be masculine, okay. Or if I'm going to talk about the noun aunt, that is always going to be feminine. Or let's say I talk about the noun husband, okay, that is masculine. A wife will always be feminine. Father is masculine. Mother is feminine. Okay. So for example, you have grandfather, that is masculine. Grandmother, that is feminine. So when it comes to people, it is very easy to identify the genders of the noun. Okay. We're talking here specifically about the gender that a noun carries. So when it comes to people, it is very simple. You have a masculine noun, you have a feminine noun. Okay. Now, the new part here that we have to learn is the gender of non-living things. That is gender of things in general. Okay. Now, because we are very well versed with English, okay, we have he, she, and it. Those are the three nouns that you all have. Now, you have masculine nouns as he, you have feminine nouns as she. That is only associated with nouns for persons. Okay. But when it comes to things like, let's say, I'm talking about the laptop, I'm talking about a chair, I'm talking about a room, I'm talking about a water bottle, I'm talking about a phone. In that case, in English, without necessarily thinking a whole lot, we'll be like, yeah, it's he, she, it. So when I'm talking of a bottle, I'll call it as it. Or I'm talking about a phone, I'll call it as it. Okay, clear? But in Deutsch, that is not the case. Okay, we are not gonna have nouns which will classify as he, she, it. So straight up, like, yeah, it's very obvious. This is he, this is she, this is it. No, we are gonna have non-living nouns as well, which are gonna be masculine, which are gonna be feminine, which are going to be neutral. So, a lot of European languages, a lot of Indian languages that we have work on this principle that we have nouns which are masculine, which are feminine, yet they are things. We are not necessarily talking about people. Okay, so regional languages, you have Indian languages, you have European languages which follow the same principle. Okay, German being one of them, but you have similar concepts in, let's say, Spanish, in French. You have those concepts in Indian languages that we have, where you will see that masculine and feminine is not just extended to a person, that is a noun with that the person concerned with that noun, it's always extended beyond that. That is, you can have a door to be masculine, a chair to be feminine, depending on the language that you are speaking. You can talk of a window and you will say, okay, window is probably feminine or masculine. So here, this is the challenge that y'all are gonna have, that eventually y'all are gonna remember the genders of these nouns. Okay, that is whenever we are talking of the genders of the nouns, we are gonna eventually have to remember the genders of the nouns. I often get asked as to, are there any tricks to remember this, or are there any group, is there a way I can group the nouns? Okay, so the honest answer to that is no. Now, on the internet and so on, you might find that some people might say, yeah, these are the tricks to the nouns. Okay, probably all nouns ending with this are masculine, all noun ending with this are feminine. To a lot of extent, it is true. So I'm not saying that what is given or what people are saying it's wrong. But there is one small factor which is not taken into consideration here, and that is the exceptions. Okay, so if sorry. Okay. Yeah, I'm just having a very bad cold, so please excuse me if I'm coughing in between. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So, when you are talking of these rules, where I say that the genders ending with so and so is masculine, the gender ending with so and so is feminine, it's not like these rules are not correct, but they are not wholesome. They're not complete, because a lot of times there are going to be exceptions to that rule. And think about it, when we are talking of a language, the amount of nouns that you're going to be learning are probably infinite. You're not even able to be going to be able to count how many nouns we need to learn. So the restriction with these rules is that these rules might not apply to every word that comes your way. Okay, certain words, yeah, sure. Okay, because we're talking of categories. But the thing is, just because you have a lot of words which are similar to each other in terms of genders, doesn't mean it applies to all the words which fall under, or all the words which are similar sounding or which have similar ending. Okay, so when there are such rules, there are certain foolproof rules also, like 100% rules as well. I will give you those rules myself. So you don't have to worry about, oh, we need to now go look for those groups or look for those rules. Not necessary. I'm so sorry. Yes, sorry. Okay. So when we are talking of these rules, no, I'll myself be giving you these rules when there are no exceptions, so that when you remember them, it's concrete for you. No, that is, you don't have to then constantly go back and forth saying, okay, this is the rules, but this is the rule, but what is the exception? No, you know the rule, you know it 100%. Okay, so these rules I'll be giving you in the class myself. What I will give you after that are learning techniques. Okay, so there are no tips or tricks which will help you understand or remember the gender of the noun. That only comes with practice. Okay, so that is only gonna happen with practice. The more you will practice the nouns, the better you will be able to remember their genders. And the genders of the nouns are not something that you can overlook, or you can, you know, ignore or leave out. Okay, because all of your grammar concepts, your sentence formation, your question formation, your communication, types of sentences, everything is dependent on this. Okay, so a lot of your concepts that you have are gonna require you to use the gender of the noun. Okay, to give you a closest example, how we use the in English. I cannot speak without using the in English, no? But the good part about English is I only have one the. Here you're gonna be having three, four of them. Okay, why? Because every noun that you have has a gender. So with the noun, you always remember the gender. So what I will be giving is, I will be giving you a learn technique. Learn technique are learning techniques where you can try and learn your nouns in that manner, which will help you remember them better. Okay, but the learning part is something that we cannot skip. It's not like gonna happen. Yeah, I look at the word and I'm gonna know what gender of that noun is. That is not gonna happen. It is extremely vital for you all to know the genders of the nouns, especially those who are considering giving examinations. You make a gender mistake, you make a gender, like you use the wrong gender for a noun, your marks will be deducted for that. So it's considered as an error. Okay. So remember that this is not a concept that you can just overlook, or you be like, huh, whatever, it's I cannot remember the genders, let me not use the genders. It's not gonna happen. Okay, so one very crucial tip that I'll give you now, of course, I'll share these learn techniques with you in the due course, but the one crucial technique that I will be giving you all is whenever we learn a noun, no? Okay, or whenever you are studying by yourself, let's just say, and you want to learn a noun, make sure that you always learn the noun with the gender, that is along with the gender. Okay, clear? So you have your gender, you have your noun. There are two things that you're going to be learning together. We are not going to be learning nouns without the genders. Okay, so when we learn the noun, simultaneously along with the noun, we learn the gender itself. So that at that time you learn it as a whole. So it's easier for you all to remember. Okay, I'll just take a little bit of a pause. I realize that a lot of you all have joined the class today for the uh, first time. So today is our fourth class, technically. Okay, yeah, all right. So it's our fourth class. All right. On Monday, I was sick, so I was not able to take a class. Okay. So technically, although we started last week on Monday, this is going to be the fourth class. So you have three previous classes to cover. Okay, clear? So there are three previous classes, the recordings to which are already shared with you. The first class was in general like a Q&A session, okay, basic introduction, doubts, questions. Please go through that because a lot of maybe your questions might get answered in that recording. So just start from the first recording, and then two more classes we have done. We have covered just the basics, no, like keywords, days, numbers, probably yeah, last class we did numbers. Okay, so we have not really started with any hardcore grammar or any concept as yet, so you all have time to cover up, don't worry. So you can just go through the previous three recordings along with today's recordings as well, if I feel, because it can happen that if today is your first class, you might feel a little bit disconnected. Okay, yeah, you have a question. You raised your hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just I was added to the group yesterday only, so I cannot find any of
Uh, okay.
videos
You
there.
can just text Haider, tell him to reshare it, or they might send it to you. Like the team might send it to you probably on personal text. So if you were added to the group recently, like in the last 2 days, and if you all cannot get access to the last week recordings, just have them know that they'll share it with you.
Okay,
Okay? Yeah.
thank you.
All right. Okay, so y'all may feel, if this is your first class, y'all might feel a little bit disconnected with what's going on. So just to be thorough, after you finish the first three recordings, might as well give today's recording a watch also, like just watch the recording for today's session as well. If any of you has any questions at any time, please do make sure that you all ask me. I don't mind repeating anything that I have done previously or I am doing now as many times as you all need. So don't worry about that. So if you all have doubts or questions, you all can always let me know. Okay? Yes? Yeah? Okay. So this concept we are starting newly today. Haven't covered this in the previous class. Okay? All right. Your schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7:30 p.m. IST, which makes it 4 p.m. CET. This month, for all of those who are in Germany, this month is the daylight saving timing change. Once the time changes, then the gap will be more. So I'll remind you all once of the timing when it changes. Okay, so don't worry about that. Once the daylight saving starts, for Indian people who are in India, don't worry. The time is not gonna change for those of you who are in India, but all those of you who are in Germany, there'll be a 4.5 hour break there. So I'll let you all know about the new timings at the end of this month. Okay, so before your daylight savings time, your time is 4 p.m. CET. For Indian, like all those who are in India, sorry, it's 7:30 p.m. IST. Okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Well, we'll get reminders for the before every class. The link will be shared. So don't worry, although it's the same link, it will be shared before every class ends. Okay, Claire, shall we proceed?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, no questions, All right. So now let's go to the nouns. Okay, now the nouns that I have here are some basic nouns, okay, something that are not based on any category or anything. But then the nouns that we will be doing in the class will be in with the help of videos. Okay, so there are a lot of vocabulary videos that are there. So see, in A1, you're not gonna be taught everything. Okay, we are gonna start with the absolute basics. Okay, so what are the basic nouns that we need in our day-to-day? Das ist dann at the end of the day, das ist alltägliches Deutsch. Alltägliches Deutsch bedeutet dann daily Deutsch, like what you need day in and day out. So we will be learning groups of nouns, let's say like modes of transportation, food items, okay, clothing, probably parts of your body, family members, okay. Then what do you have in a city? What do you see around you? So you have places like, let's say, the park, theaters, okay, then for example, gyms, recreational places, official places. So we will be sticking to basic vocabulary. So that brings me to my Lerntechnik Nummer 2. It has been observed or lately since these video learning or this visual learning has entered, it seems to be more effective than just reading the nouns. Okay, so you can mix and match these methods. You don't have to just stick to one. So what I usually do is I show you all these vocabulary videos in the class, okay, where you will be learning vocabulary along with that video. So we're not going to be reading out of a book, okay, we're going to be seeing the video on the screen. I share these links with you all so that you can repeat them again and again. So you can play that video 3, 4, 5 times, maybe you play it once today, then again after a couple of days. Okay, clear? So, all right. So here what happens is you constantly repeat those nouns, na? So you end up learning the genders as well. So the more you will listen, the better your language will get, as in the better you will be able to remember these nouns. Okay, the same thing we do, I do sometimes for grammar topics also. So when there are certain complexer topics, after the explanation and the class is done, we can see a brief video as a brush up, as a recap. All the links that I use in the class, all of them will be shared with you. Okay? Yeah. Okay. So today we will be learning one such group. Okay, but before that, let's come back to our nouns. Okay, so what we have been discussing is nouns have genders. Okay, every noun that you see, that is gonna have a gender. Okay, so you're talking about a person. Let's say I'm talking about my father or my mother. Yes, nouns. Father is a noun, mother is a noun. Nouns, so they will have a gender. Or I'm talking about, let's say, the laptop, the phone, the water bottle, the chair, the window, the stationery you are using, probably the pen, the eraser, everything, all nouns are going to have genders. So, like I mentioned earlier, it's very easy to understand the genders of nouns associating with people. Na? Father, uncle, grandfather, of course, they are masculine nouns. Mother, wife, grandmother, aunt, these are all feminine nouns. So, the goal is to make sure that you remember the nouns which are non living things. Okay, because We cannot look at the noun, and believe me, there is no trick that is there. Okay, you cannot just look at the noun and try to guess its gender because there is no basis to that. Okay, it's just how the word has evolved which gives it a gender, otherwise, there is no logic in it. Okay, so we have four genders: masculine, feminine, neutral, and plural. Naturally, nouns are also used in plural. So let's say I'm talking about one laptop. It doesn't always means that I'm talking only of that one laptop. I could be talking about two laptops. I could be talking about 10 laptops. So you need a word for the plural. Hence, you have the article for plural. Okay. So now your gender or the gender of the noun is depicted or is given with something that we call as an article. Okay, clear? So the thema here is nomen und then their article. That is the gender of the noun is given with the help of their article. Okay, so es gibt vier Artikel. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, numbers. We did this last time, no? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have four articles. Masculine article is there. Okay, there. Okay, so with all masculine nouns, you will find the article used that will be there. Okay, alla feminine nomen article is the. Okay, the article for feminine nomen is the. Okay, neutral nomen article is das. You'll have heard the tagline for Volkswagen, right? Das Auto. Yeah or no? Okay. Firstly, it's Volkswagen. Okay. Why? Because V is V in Deutsch. So Volkswagen, das Auto. So das Auto is nothing but the gender of the word auto. So auto is a car. The gender of the word is das. So this is the neutral nomen. So das Auto. Un plural article is the. Now, this the is used for plural. This the is used for feminine. How do we distinguish between which noun is feminine and which noun is neutral? By looking at the noun and looking at the context of the statement or the question that we are using it in. That is, am I talking about a noun which is feminine and singular? Or am I talking about a noun which is used in plural? Okay. So when we talk of plural nouns, no, the singular noun or the gender which the noun used in the singular doesn't matter. Okay. So when I am talking of, let's say, one noun, in singular, it is masculine. But plural, the article will still be the. Same way, singular is feminine, plural is sowieso the. Singular is neutral, this is das. Plural is the. So when it comes to the plural forms of the nouns, what the singular gender was, it doesn't matter. Throughout the plural nouns, the article is going to be the. So there is masculine, the is feminine, das is neutral, und die is plural. Okay, so we will just take a look at some of these nouns. Okay, so the first noun that we have here is their man. Okay, so man, as you can see in the picture very clearly, this is the man. No? So we don't learn it just as man, we learn it as their man. Okay, again, I'm not stressing on air, it's not there. Okay, it's there. R is schwach, it's weak. Okay, R is a weaker sound, it's a softer sound. So that is the air. Okay, so their man. Okay, now you have their man. Man hat ja auch der Kuchen. Okay, so Kuchen is a cake, as you can see. Aber Kuchen is masculine. See, there is no answering why to it. Why is cake masculine? No, it just is. That's how the noun is. That's how the noun has originated. Okay. So their man is auch masculine. Their Kuchen is auch masculine. Clear? Then feminine is die Frau. So as you can see, Frau is a woman. Okay? So die Frau, aber die Flasche. Flasche is a water bottle. Okay? So a bottle basically, not a water bottle necessarily. Any bottle that you're talking about, that is the Flasche. Okay? So feminine, die Flasche. Okay? So der Mann, der Kuchen. Okay? Die Frau, die Flasche. Okay? Yeah. Clear? So far, good. I have some questions in the chat. I'll just answer them in a bit. Okay? Yeah. So I've seen your questions. So just give me a moment. Once I finish this, I'll answer. Okay? Yeah. All right. Then we come to neutral. Das heißt dann das. Okay? So you have das Kind. Okay, so kind is a small child. Any child you see, you'll call it, yeah, it's a kid, right? So das Kind. Okay? Then das Auto. Okay? Das Auto. Okay, I'm just going through some brief now. There are more groups that we will be learning. So das Kind, das Auto. Okay? Dann plural nomen. Das heißt dann die Kinder. So sehen Sie mal, ein Kind, one child, na? Das ist das Kind, Singular. Aber dann 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So das ist dann 6 Kinder. You've heard the word kindergarten, na? So that kinder is basically children's. Plural. Okay, like children when you're talking of that. So ein Kind, aber 5 Kinder oder 6 Kinder. So you see the gender of the noun is changing. Das Kind, aber die Kinder. Why die Kinder? Because it is a plural noun. Okay. Similarly, we have die Kuli. So das ist ein Kuli. Okay. One pen when I talk about, das ist ein Kuli. Singular. Das ist der Kuli, masculine. Okay. One pen, singular. We'll use the article der Kuli. But if I am talking about 3 pens, okay, or like we have in this picture, as in the coolies. Understood? So the gender of the noun goes on changing depending on if the noun is masculine, feminine, neutral, and if it is singular or plural. Okay? Clear? So far good? Any questions?
Can you repeat the singular and plural once more? This regarding the pens.
Singular and plural as in terms of?
In the context, like
Okay, so we will see that when we make statements and all, but singular and plural in context, as in you can take this example. Okay, now I'm talking of one child here. Now, so in this picture, in this photo, we see one child. So the noun is singular. Okay, das Kind. So kind, the article for kind is das. Okay, neutral. This is something that you're going to have to know. This is something that you're going to have to learn. So I'm not really looking at the child and always guessing, okay, what will be the gender of the noun. Okay, so das Kind, I'm talking about one child. Okay, you'll get more reference, you'll get more, context when we learn statements. Right now, I'm just purely dealing with nouns. Okay, so when I talk about one child, this is das Kind, like you see in the picture. But the moment I start talking about 5, 6 children here, okay, then I can't use the noun kind na, because kind is singular. I'm talking only about one. But now I'm talking about 5 children. I'm talking about 6 children. Then the noun changes. The noun becomes die Kinder. So the moment I say Kinder, I know that, yeah, this is the plural form of the word kind. So one Kind, ein Kind. Das ist das Kind. Aber dann 5 Kinder. Das heißt dann die Kinder. Okay. Similarly, I'm talking about this pen. So I'm telling you the color of this pen, maybe the cost of this pen. So how will I call it out? I'll say their coolie. Okay. Their coolie. But now when I'm talking about 2 or 3 of the noun, so this is plural. So this is their coolie, singular. But that's in the coolies. Das ist plural. Okay, and plural in Deutsch doesn't work like that in English. Huh? You just can't add s everywhere and you get a plural. Every word is gonna have a different type of plural. So plural endings are different. Sometimes it's er, sometimes it is s, sometimes it is just e, sometimes it is n. So you have to learn them. Okay, so ein coolie, their coolie, singular. But when I talk of 3 pens and all, then I can't say coolie because coolie means only one. So what happens here? Doesn't that coolies? S, that is then plural. And the article for that is the coolies. Understood now?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, I'll take a small moment to just go through the questions I have here. Yeah, first I'll take the noun related question this way, then the general ones. Yeah, pen is masculine. Okay, it's called as their coolie. Okay, or it is also called as their Kugelschreiber. Somebody has written that word. I'll just give you that. So their coolie is fine. Okay, it has a synonym though. Okay, if you all want, you all can write these down. Okay, their coolie or their Kugelschreiber. Okay, it's okay. You don't need to know the word Kugelschreiber. Honestly, nobody uses it. It's more so called as their coolie. Okay, yeah. Pen is masculine. Their coolie. Bottle is feminine. Yes. Uh, yeah, very important question in a way. How do we know what is feminine and what is masculine? This is a question which I get in all of my classes, and unfortunately, I'll have to disappoint you by saying we cannot know. Okay, that's why the stress is on learning these things. That is, you need to learn the gender of the noun, you need to know the gender of the noun. There is no way I can look at a noun and I can guess what the gender of the noun is. I'll give you one example. Okay, now this is a glass. Okay, this is a glass of water. There is no way I can look at this glass and guess, oh, is this masculine, is this feminine, is this neutral? Okay, there's no way to learn a noun like that. So the article for that is das Glas. Okay, and write down the word for y'all if you all want to. This is das Glas. How do I know that? I have learned it. That's how. Understanding. So there is no trick here. The more time you will spend with the language, the more you will practice these nouns, you will slowly start getting a hang of it. See, initially, this feels a little difficult. It feels very unsettling because you are new to it. Give it some time, have a little bit of patience, but be very regular with your practice. By the end of the course, you yourself will notice that you have picked up a lot. Okay, so I can understand right now it just feels like, yeah, what is this? There's so much we have to remember. But eventually, that's a part of learning a language that you're gonna have to remember a lot of things. Okay, so I have a question here. How many nouns or words should be learned for the A1 level? I would say you don't have to put a cap on it like that. Like, I'll not be teaching you mechanically at all, to be very honest. So whatever we do in the class, whatever we cover in the exercises, whatever videos we see, it's more than enough for A1 because the way usually courses go is you are given more than you need. Okay, that's the that's the way any course goes, is that whatever you are expected to learn and whatever material you are given to learn, the material is always more. So right now, if you just focus on whatever we are doing in the class, whatever material we are doing in the class, whatever videos I share with you, that is more than enough. You can't put a cap on it like that. So I know people might say, yeah, you need to know 1,000 words, 2,000 words, but who is sitting and counting, or why do you want to sit and count? So let's say if you are living in Germany, you go to a supermarket, you're going to see a lot of things around you. So you can try to pick up you can try to pick as many words as possible. You don't have to put a cap to it. It depends on what some people might already be working. So you're already interacting with people out there. So you can learn as much as possible for you. As far as the course or the exam perspective, whatever we are doing in class is actually more than good. So don't worry about that. Yeah, you have a question? Yeah, Fayaz.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I have to ask in English, pen is feminine, right? So, but in German, pen is, you said masculine.
Yeah, it is masculine. Yeah, you cannot depend on any other language. You said in Spanish, you speak Spanish?
No, ma'am.
In English, there is no gender. English pen is pen, it's neutral. Okay. So here,
Means is general meaning concepts.
no,
Means
in English,
mother tongue we can
but yeah, like that. So if you're talking of like languages like
yes,
Hindi or so, yeah, then it is different. So that is another thing.
yes.
You can't base what you know
So
already in
so
one
so
language with
in
Deutsch. No,
German
it's different.
it's a it's German pen like concept by ball pen.
Huh.
So yes, so
Uh,
then possible
yeah,
must
yeah, but in Deutsch it's gonna be masculine. I know in other languages like in Hindi or so we use it as a neutral noun because I don't think it's technically still an English word that we are using. But yeah, you cannot cross references also. That is not possible. If you're thinking, oh, let me think what this is in Hindi and let me try to gauge the article. No, it 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 doesn't match a lot of times. It's just something else and it's not similar at all. So you'll anyway end up making those errors. So
okay.
so it
So we
doesn't
have to
matter.
remember
Yeah,
words.
yeah. You
Okay, ma'am.
come at
Thank you.
it with however ways possible. The one answer you all will get is you have to learn it. You have to remember it. There is no escape. Okay. So give it time. I'll give you enough material for you all to practice. So don't worry. But yeah, eventually you're gonna have to remember. Okay. Alright. Yeah, I have a question here. Why we use das noun with Mädchen instead of die because it's feminine. Yeah. Now here comes the noun part. So we have a word called as das Mädchen. I have used this word further in your examples, but I can tell you all about it now since it's already come up. All words with end with shen, all words that end with shen are neutral. So it doesn't matter if Mädchen is a little girl. See, these genders are not given to the person. These genders are given to the noun. Okay. So the girl is feminine, yes. But the word I am using to talk about that girl or the word I'm using to address that girl, that is neutral. Okay, so understand the difference here. We're not talking about the genders of people here. We're talking about the genders of the noun. Okay, so all words that end with shen, and there are quite a few. Okay, so yeah, so all words that end with shen, they are gonna be neutral. Okay, so although Mädchen is a little girl, it's a word used to call a little girl, like address a little girl. It's gonna be, okay, it's gonna be neutral. With Shen, no exceptions. Okay, Shen, you're safe. All words with Shen are neutral. Similarly, all words ending with O are also neutral. Okay, so there is a list which I will put up on your worksheet also, where you will get these rules. Okay, but we haven't learned those many nouns as yet, so I don't want to give you all of the nouns together. So if you all are looking at, we have another word that is say das radio. Okay, so all nouns that end with O, das auto, das radio, they are all neutral without exceptions. Okay, Clem? All right. What else? Yeah. Okay, I think more or less all questions are answered. Yeah, this is the German A1. What level am I gonna teach the language? That depends on how the course progresses ahead. We finish A1, then the team decides when the next uh, course will start. As for me, I teach from A1 to C1. So, okay, so probably, yeah, so let's hope we can go that far and have those many courses. But yeah, okay, so how the courses will be formed, that the UpGrad team will decide. Okay, all right. So we'll repeat these words once. Okay. So yeah, I'll repeat this once. Y'all can repeat it after me. Okay. So we begin with their man. Yeah, y'all can repeat it. Y'all can be on mute and still repeat it. Their man.
Der Mann.
Their Kuchen.
Der Kuchen,
Yeah. Die Frau. Die
die Frau,
Flasche.
Die Frau.
Hmm. Yeah, then weiter. Das Kind.
das
Das
Kind,
Kind.
Okay. Yeah, y'all can be on mute and repeat. It's okay. Okay. Das Mädchen. Okay. A umlaut.
Das Mädchen.
A. Das Mädchen. Okay.
Das Mädchen.
Das Radio.
das Radio,
Okay. Das Auto. Okay. Then die Kinder. Okay. Die Coolies.
die Coolies,
Okay. Then we'll repeat the extra words also that we have learned just now. Das Glas. Okay.
das Glas,
Der Coolie. And der Kugelschreiber. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, yeah, I had a question earlier on the chat asking, will there be quizzes for now? Sorry, just give me one moment. I'll take your question. Okay. So this is one thing that I haven't told you all earlier, but here comes the instructions. We will be having small class tests. Okay. After we finish a few topics. So let's say when we finish the first 4-5 grammar topics, or initial 3-4 grammar topics, we will do like a test. Okay, so it's a practice test. It's not like an evaluation. We do the test, we discuss the answers in the class. Okay, so it covers the grammar, it covers vocabulary, and I often do vocabulary rounds in the class. So after I finish, let's say 4-5 groups of nouns with you, okay, or let's say lesser maybe, because the nouns are sometimes a lot more, but then we do like a noun quiz or a noun exercise in the class where I'll probably just show you some pictures and you have to tell me what that noun is along with the gender, or I'll give you some nouns in English, you have to tell me what they are called in Deutsch, or I'll just give you the noun and you have to tell me what the gender is. So we will try our best, like, I'll try my best in the class to make sure that you get a lot of practice in the class itself, so that when you go back, you just have to revise it. Like there's no intensive practice required from your end in the at home, but you're gonna need to study. Okay, so it's not like let's do everything in the class and just not do anything at home. Yeah, go ahead, ask your question. Yeah.
In the earlier classes, you told us that whenever S or any letter that has a different pronunciation comes before vowel, it is just pronounced as it is, like S or R. Like even in this case, is that true, Kugelschreiber?
No, Kugelschreiber, this is SCH. That is what makes it sh. So the sound doesn't remain as it is.
For
The
the R
sound
part.
part changes. Yeah. So for air, the sound remains subtler. So we're not going to say Kugelschreiber. Okay, Schrei is again a subtler R. So it's not Schreiber, it's Schreiber. Okay. So the R is always entangled with some other sound, which makes it subtler if it comes in between. If it is at the end, it is almost as good as it is in the air. So this is done there, Kugelschreiber. We don't say there Kugelschreiber. That R you don't hear very precisely. Okay.
Okay, now.
So yeah, so most of the times there is a combinations of sounds that you will use. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Anybody else has any other questions? Okay. So we'll just take a break for about 5 to 7 minutes, and after that we will go to our first group of nouns. Okay. So I'll I'll show you a video, and we'll do the first group of nouns that we have from A1. Okay. So let's take a break for about 5 to 7 minutes. Okay. You all can stay on the call. You all don't have to leave the call. Okay. We'll start again in another 5 to 7 minutes. Okay. Awesome. Yeah.
Hello.
All right. Everybody back?
Yes, Ankit.
Okay. All right. Just give me 1 minute. All right. Okay. So now we will start with a group of vocabulary. Okay. Basics. Okay. So I'm starting with Schulsachen. Schulsachen are basically your stationery items, whatever you use, paper, pen, pencil, eraser, all of that. Okay. Now here you will have a video going along, okay, where the word will be repeated. For your practice, if you wish to, you can repeat that with the video. Okay, I'll turn off my camera, okay, because I hope it'll minimize the lag. I don't think there should be any lag here, but if there is any problem at any time with the audio, just post a message in chat. Okay, so if there is any problem, you can let me know. Clear? All right, I'll share the link to this video with you all. Okay, so you all can watch it later on as well. All right, keep watching these videos. Sorry, keep watching these videos multiple times so that it is easier for you all to remember the articles. Okay, all right. So just tell me if the audio is clear and we'll start.
Hello, everyone.
Audible? Is the audio clear to everybody?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
You can mute your microphone so that in case there is any background noise, it doesn't disturb the others. I'll also mute my microphone. So if there is any problem, y'all can post it on the chat. Okay? All right. So we're beginning yet. So let us start.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our video series on Learn German Vocabulary. In this video, you will be learning the names of various things in a classroom. All you have to do is just listen to me and repeat. Im Klassenzimmer. Noch einmal. Im Klassenzimmer. Das Klassenzimmer. Noch einmal. Das Klassenzimmer. Der Lehrer. Die Lehrerin. Noch einmal. Der Lehrer. Die Lehrerin. The feminine form of the profession takes an IN at the end. Let's do the plural form now. Die Lehrer, die Lehrerinnen. Noch einmal, die Lehrer, die Lehrerinnen. Similarly in the next one, der Schüler, die Schülerin. Noch einmal, der Schüler, die Schülerin. And now the plural form. Die Schüler, die Schülerinnen. Noch einmal, die Schüler, die Schülerinnen. Das Fenster, die Fenster. Noch einmal, das Fenster, die Fenster. Der Tisch, die Tische. Noch einmal, der Tisch, die Tische. Do notice here, die Tische is the plural for der Tisch.
Machine learning engineering is a
Der Stuhl, die Stühle. Noch einmal, der Stuhl, die Stühle. Die Tafel, die Tafeln. Noch einmal, die Tafel, die Tafeln. And the next one, die Kreide, die Kreiden. Once again, die Kreide, die Kreiden. Der Schwamm, die Schwämme. Noch einmal, der Schwamm, die Schwämme. These are mostly used to clean the boards. Das Smartboard, die Smartboards. Once again, das Smartboard, die Smartboards. Der Rucksack, die Rucksäcke. Noch einmal, der Rucksack, die Rucksäcke. Das Heft, die Hefte. Noch einmal, das Heft, die Hefte. Das Buch, die Bücher. Noch einmal, das Buch, die Bücher. Die Mappe, die Mappen. Noch einmal, die Mappe, die Mappen. Der Ordner, die Ordner. Noch einmal, der Ordner, die Ordner. Das Arbeitsblatt, die Arbeitsblätter. Noch einmal, das Arbeitsblatt, die Arbeitsblätter. Das Papier, die Papiere. Noch einmal, das Papier, die Papiere. Der Computer, die Computer. Noch einmal, der Computer, die Computer. Die Landkarte, die Landkarten. Noch einmal, die Landkarte, die Landkarten. Das Plakat, die Plakate. Noch einmal, das Plakat, die Plakate. Der Globus, die Globen. Noch einmal, der Globus, die Globen. Der Papierkorb, die Papierkörbe. Noch einmal, der Papierkorb, die Papierkörbe.
Most working professionals are finding jobs the wrong way. They see a job post and they hit
Die Federmappe, die Federmappen. Noch einmal, die Federmappe, die Federmappen. Der Winkel, die Winkel. Noch einmal, der Winkel, die Winkel. Das Lineal, die Lineale. Noch einmal, das Lineal, die Lineale. Der Zirkel, die Zirkel. Noch einmal, der Zirkel, die Zirkel. Der Kuli, die Kulis. Noch einmal, der Kuli, die Kulis. Der Bleistift, die Bleistifte. Noch einmal, der Bleistift, die Bleistifte. Der Buntstift, die Buntstifte. Noch einmal, der Buntstift, die Buntstifte. Die Malkreide, die Malkreiden. Noch einmal, die Malkreide, die Malkreiden. Der Marker, die Marker. Noch einmal, der Marker, die Marker. Der Spitzer, die Spitze. Noch einmal, der Spitzer, die Spitze. Der Radiergummi, die Radiergummis. Noch einmal, der Radiergummi, die Radiergummis. Der Büroklammer, die Büroklammern. Noch einmal, der Büroklammer, die Büroklammern. Der Tacker, die Tacker. Noch einmal, der Tacker, die Tacker. Der Locher, die Locher. Noch einmal, der Locher, die Locher. Die Schere, die Scheren. Noch einmal, die Schere, die Scheren. Der Kleber, die Kleber. Noch einmal, der Kleber, die Kleber. Well done. Danke. Thanks for watching this video. If you like
Ja, okay. So you don't have to learn all of the nouns at once when you're practicing by yourself. So you can take this video, you can start with the most important words, okay? The words which you all use or we use day in and day out, na? Like say coolie, Bleistift, Radiogumi, lineal. Okay, so words which you use day in and day out, try to focus on them first. You can include this as a part of passive learning. That is, you're just watching something. Okay, you're just doing something. You can play this video in the background and try to hear it as many times as possible. It will help you understand or pick up your nouns better. Okay, all right. So I'll update your worksheet with whatever we have done today. All right. So we still have a little time, but do you all want to do something else or should we stop for today? Yeah, I don't want to do like too much at a time. Don't want to confuse you all at the beginning because I'm guessing this is the first class for a lot of you. Okay. So is that okay? Should we stop? Yeah, go ahead.
So in the start, I was learning from Learn German itself, but I discontinued that. Should I keep doing that? Like just going through
For
the videos?
vocabularies, it's okay. So for grammar topics and everything else, you don't need to because all of that we will be discussing in the class. For vocabulary, like the words that were there right now, for that you can use any channel. So there are a couple of channels which I personally use only for vocabulary in the class. That is Learn German. Learn German also grammar, some of them I might share with you. Okay, but there is also a couple of more channels like Deutsche School is one. So you don't need to follow the channels to the T. You can only do select few things like vocabulary. So vocabulary, basically any channel you follow, you'll get the same words more or less. Or if not, the topics for A1 are always similar. Like you will have words for, let's say, Schulsachen. So the words can be repeated. So you can watch videos if you're using it for vocabulary, but if you are continuing watching some segments, if a lot of y'all might be using Duolingo, so y'all can continue all of that. That's not a problem. Okay, it might not be able to like, so of course whatever the important thing is, the main part you can focus on the classes because there'll be a lot of like grammar explanation, so we'll be working on all of that. On the side, if you all want to practice anything, that's okay. Okay, so the link to this video I'll upload on your document. So as for that as well, all those of y'all who have joined today as your first session, we have a classroom material like a Word doc that will be shared. So after every class, whatever we have done in the class will get updated over there, including the YouTube links. So check about that also. That is, you need access to that folder. So they'll give you the link to access that folder as well, where you will find all of the material. Okay, all right. So yeah, I think that's the stylus. Then we will stop for now. So I'll see you all now on Friday, same time, and we will continue with some more basic topics on Friday. Okay, so meanwhile, you all can go through these 4 classes. If you all have any questions, you all can let me. Okay, so yeah, das ist alles dann für heute. Wir treffen uns am Freitag. Okay, so ja, tschüss, bis Freitag. Ciao.
Wiederholen.
Ja, ja, tschüss.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Ja, auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss.
Ciao, ciao.
Ja, ciao. Tschüss. Ja, tschüss.